body contains an abundance of power. What remains unused in a lifetime stays trapped inside.
Your life ends!
If we could just release all that power.
I'll have to figure out a way to take things to the next level.
Bring everything you've got. That's exactly what I wanted to hear!
Prepare for annihilation!
There's no way that a single man can defeat all those soldiers in combat!
Having trouble keeping up?
I'm still just getting started. Come on, what are you waiting for?
Been fun, but playtime's over.
Playtime is over, so put your tray tables up and your seat in that full upright position, because this is the Flight Plan, the official podcast of Big Guy for You Scanlations, Japan's #1 Bane posting manga scanlation podcast. Join the flight crew, Tom and Aiden, as we bant about all the anime, all the manga, and that scanlation content. What are we talking about today, Tom?
We're talking some peak 30-year-old boomer nostalgia hour content here. Toonami.
Did I detect a sips in the background?
Yeah, I hope that came through. I only have one can to try it with. This is a one-take only maneuver here. And it's actually disgusting. I just had it, I had the sip as part of the goof. Mango passion fruit kombucha. That's what it is. It's really not palatable.
Is it in a can, or because they don't do kombucha in a can? It really?
Yeah, because when I went to the store, I made a special trip to the store today just so I had a can ready. They really don't sell too many things in a can separate. I saw like a tomato juice or something like that, but I'm not going to drink tomato juice. So this was like the next best thing, and it was pricey. Kombucha's like $2.30 or something stupid like that. So I'm poor now. Yeah, so we need that $10,000 Patreon boost from each listener, however that meme goes. Oh, well, by the way, did I say Toonami, or did I only think to say Toonami? That's a topic.
Wait, Toonami? I thought you meant Toonami, which is city in the Toyama prefecture of Japan.
Oh, we can roll with that too. I did my senior thesis on that.
I put all my show notes in something completely different.
Is that a real place?
Yeah, I misspelled tsunami and it popped up. I was like, that'll be a great goof.
Well, I hope you have actual content on that. But before we get to that main content, let's do some top of the show stuff. So I guess as is tradition, we can kick it off with the corrections corner. And I don't know if you have anything in this regard, but I definitely do.
Nope. I never really make mistakes. I don't think I do corrections corners.
Okay, well, you just made a mistake in that sentence because you stuttered. So checkmate. Atheists 0, Christians 1.
I didn't stutter because I'm the one that's editing. So
curses foiled again.
In fact, I'm gonna add extra stutters to you this week.
Curses foiled again. I think I only have one corrections corner, and this is from like 2 episodes ago. If you recall, last episode I left my corrections corner notes at work, so I didn't have them. Anyway, I have more preamble now than I do with the actual correction. That Final Fantasy X language is Al-Bhed. That's the one I was trying to think of.
I vaguely remember what we were talking about there.
Well, we were talking about the game Charles Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden, and its language options are English and Al-Bhed. But that's it for my corrections corner. I do kind of have an optional Sudoku segment. If we can do that real quick. Maybe one for each of us, just for being late on different stuff.
Well.
Nothing. Well, nothing. Because, last episode was late by, a few days, and then this last chapter was late by a couple days, and this next chapter might be late by a couple days.
This episode's late by a day. It'll be up Monday.
Yeah.
It's all late. It's a rolling deadline.
Well, we work on 8-day weeks, so we're still weekly. Just the 8-day weekly.
We live in a future year, the current year plus 50, and they have 8-day weeks after the global human imperium conquers the galaxy. It's based off the no longer the Sol calendar. It's the star system Omega. I don't know, Andromeda Omega.
Yep. I think you nailed it. It was very convincing. It sounded like you actually were from the future.
I know. It's pretty spoopy.
Yeah, it's not really worth coming up with excuses. It's just going to be a busy couple weeks, and the next Antarctica Girls will be kind of late too. I was planning for next weekend for that one, but that might be a little bit late too. Yeah, we'll see. We'll roll with it. Definitely at maybe mid-November is when stuff will get more regular in terms of manga releases, probably.
When we get a break from high school and we can get the 2-week vacation off.
Yeah, exactly. I get 2 days vacation. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I know one reason you've been super busy is that you've launched a brand new IP. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's called Facebook 2, the sequel to Facebook 1, which is now it's being renamed retroactively to Facebook 1.
Alexa, this is so great. Play Despacio.
What is Despacio? I feel like I've heard that. It's some song.
Despacito. It's
okay.
It's this Mexican pop song thing.
Ah.
I like to make like a very meta joke is like, Alexa, this is so sad. Play gazpacho, which is a type of soup.
Oh, I see.
Because a lot of people pronounce Despacito, Despacio, because it's not a real. I mean, it's not a real word because it's not in English, and if it's not in English or
Right.
Japan, it's not a real word.
I have a hard time disagreeing with that. And just real quick, also with your Alexa, or this is so sad. Alexa, play something such. Is that a play off of that one comic style where, like, at the bottom there's that dude? He's like that cool dude.
It's like, this is so sad. Can we get 300 likes?
Yeah, it's like, can we smash that like button? It's like, can we beat up our teacher or whatever for like a school related one? Like, they get excessively crazier.
There was like one. It's like, can we overthrow the government or something like that? Or like,
Oh yeah, I was taking a sip. That was dangerous, but.
Gotta get your sips in.
What were we talking about? What was so sad that we had to play Despacito? Oh, the new IP. There we are. Had to go back 15 levels of tangents, but we're back to the main core golden nugget here. I talked about the name of it. I name dropped it last episode. I'm trying to find my tab so I can click on it so I can see the full title. Here it
Tab?
is.
I thought you were drinking kombucha. Oh, this is so
You got me. My computer tab on my internet browser. Snow Fox? What's it called?
I don't know what you're using.
Well, you recommended it to me.
I'm using CyberFox.
That's probably what it is, yeah.
It's the only browser that accurately captures my Fur Affinity avatar.
Very appropriate. I guess it's also appropriate since we're talking about Monster Girls. Because the new manga is Yokoso Genkai Shuraku E. But it's not spelled Shuraku, it's SYU Raku, because that's just I don't want to get into it. Some people don't know how to properly Romanize. They use an incorrect system. It's not different, it's incorrect. That's my hardline stance on it. Anyway, yeah, it's a cool little slice of life thing about monster girls and a human girl and a city where all monsters, girls, and humans can live together. I don't know, I'm not good at selling mangas. Go read it.
Is it cute?
I would say so. A good number of the girls, I think, are...
Is it moe?
I would say some girls could be described as moe, yes.
Who's best girl? So I can go and read, like, to know.
I don't quite know yet.
Interesting. Is there like a 3-way tie or?
I have read all 3 volumes, but honestly, I haven't really thought about it. And nobody really jumps out immediately as best girl. It's a toughie. Yeah.
Wow.
I think I'll have to read it in English to fully get the full subtleties of the best girls, you know.
It's like you're the one translating it. There's something about rereading something.
There's just something about the English language where it's so expressive. There's just something to be said about rewriting character traits.
It'll be better when I overlay my fanfic on it.
I'll make one of them secretly a trap just to get that audience, you know?
I would love something like 4 kids to do that, like to like really just screw with somebody. Yeah,
it's like an anti-4 kids, you know? You make it like more adult, or
like ghost stories.
Yeah, exactly that.
Exactly.
That wasn't a Toonami one, was it?
No, I wish.
That wasn't even like Adult Swim, wasn't it? It's like
I was like
some niche
direct to DVD or VHS.
Yeah. We'll have to do that if we ever do a dub episode. We'll talk about ghost stories. It's a good one.
Well, everybody go to the link in the description and
yeah, exactly.
And read it. It's fantastic. In fact, we have a bunch of comments from the passengers on it. So we got Mako, who says, "This sounds like a comfy soccer request with yokai." Oh, yeah. Let's see if it'll also...
I'm not familiar with Soccer Request. Isn't that like tactical RPG with mechs?
See, I was just gonna like slide past that, assuming that like it was implied that I knew what it was, but
well, you could edit that out. Who knows?
Mako puts in a spoiler tag that says, "Let's see if it'll also be boring," because apparently Soccer Request was boring. But no, this one's good.
Maybe.
No, this one's great.
I'm not good at selling stuff.
Scripted says that other Yokai Village mango minus the silly male MC, so that's pretty good. We've got
That's true. There is no male MC. There are male characters. This isn't like a Love Live situation, but they're not like
they're all traps.
No. In fact, there is one implied ship, I would say, if you're into that kind of thing. With
yeah, I could be.
Although I have to say it's very what's the Christian version of haram? Like heretical, I guess. It's very heretical. There's interspecies shipping there, so watch out for that. You better watch out for that. The forbidden love.
We have Care Curry. It says, "This is interesting. I'm in." Heart face. Less than 3. Excellent. Forecast says, "Sounds leisurely. I'm following this." Yeah. Well, I'm following you. You better look out. No. Spiral Soul says, "Thanks for translating this. More monster girls are always a great thing, and hopefully this will be good." Well, I have great news for you. This is a fantastic manga.
The best. Believe me.
Uverine, I believe that's how you would pronounce it, that says, "So many waifus to choose from. And they also comment, "Huzzah, new title from my favorite Scanlation group." I didn't even make that up. That's a real comment. Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Thanks for the translation, Tom. Oh, somebody
That's
listens to
me.
the podcast. Between the podcast and these quality scanlations, it's hard not to get excited with a new project from BG for you.
Beautiful.
This series definitely has a potential for a good run. Oh, you're inflating the egos to proportions that...
It's dangerous. It brought a tear to my eye, and it brought blush to my cheeks.
We're hitting levels of blush that shouldn't even be possible.
Yep, I'm like a moe girl right now, except I'm an adult man.
Kawaii.
You got it.
Uguru.
No, it's just ugu. Hey, that guy who called them yokai, hey man, that's offensive. You can't call them that. They're called genju. And
That's their word.
in this series. Yep.
Called the U word. The Y word.
The Y word. What do you think? This is some kind of yokai watch? I was gonna try to do like a hard R, like yokar, but that doesn't work. So never mind. So as you know, I've been watching anime slowly, like episode 1s here and there of the new season, and here I'm going to tell you if they're worth watching or not based on one episode's worth of judgment. This week I watched. This is a stupid title. I have to look it up. Ulysses, Joan of Arc, and the Alchemist Knight.
Wow.
And this is the one that when we did our seasonal episode, it looked to us like
an English, like a collection of just words.
Definitely, but I mean visually it looks kind of like a mix of Hellsing and
My Little Pony.
No, My Little Pony. Fate Stay Night. I didn't realize this, even though the picture implies it. It's like one dude and like 6 girls.
Oh, okay. Well, that's like most anime.
I know, but like I'm like 90% sure just based on the quality of like the writing and the characters and everything that this is a light novel.
I think that'd be a safe bet.
Yeah. So let me just give you a brief synopsis. There's like all these different girls and they're like from royal families or whatever. I don't know. They're high class. One of them is like a knight. One is like, I don't know, something stupid, and the other something other stupid. It's all dumb. And then there's a dude who's like typical beta MC, but he wants to be an alchemist. And somehow he has like the Philosopher's Stone that got passed down from his parents, who I guess are dead. I don't know. I only briefly paid attention because, who cares? It's a boring character, boring backstory. Anyway, he like sells his soul. It's kind of like Faustian Mephistopheles deal, but he sells it to like a tiny little fairy girl who's like the queen of some fairies or something. She's supposed to teach him how to make the actual real Philosopher's Stone and make it ingestible by a human. Like, you're supposed to swallow it after turning it into an elixir, otherwise it kills you. But,
yeah, that's what happened in Full Metal Alchemist, the homunculi.
Oh yeah? Oh, okay.
Well, there's actually 2 different Full Metal Alchemists that have a completely different story.
Yeah, that's true. Like, the manga one and then the anime. Anyway, he somehow, through magic fairy shenanigans, wastes like 7 years trying to work on this elixir, and he doesn't really get that far. And then he meets like this little lowly girl who is Joan of Arc.
Nice.
And she's kind of like best girl, she's just like your small town, like farm girl kind of attitude. You know the trope. Pretty good. And she's hanging out with like these tiny little fairies. They're like, 6 inches, like little chibis. They're adorable, like really, really cute. And like picture, their voices remind me of the little platelets from Cells at Work.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're very cute. The whole backdrop of this, the setting is like a fantasy kind of reimagining of like England versus France kind of war. I'm sure it's a real war. I just don't know history. 15th century kind of thing.
It was the Vietnam War.
Yeah. It was the Vietnam War. Anyway, I'm giving this way too much time, so let me just...
Was it good?
Speed it. No, it's garbage. It's garbage. They attack all the fairies. There's like an unnecessarily brutal scene where the fairies get like stepped on and killed and like destroyed, and it's sad. And then Joan of Arc gets stabbed in the back, literally, and dies. And then, meanwhile, the only elixir ability thing that the main character has managed to do is he can now drool magic elixir.
Nice.
So when he wants to power up these girls, he has to make out with them to transfer the elixir into them.
Nice.
So he makes out with dead Joan of Arc, and she turns into a psychopathic killer, and she kills all the knights.
You mean Yandere?
Not even. She's just like straight up killer.
Aw.
It's complete garbage. Oh, I hate it. I don't know why I just spent 20 minutes talking about it. It's the worst. I will not watch episode 2. I actually tried, but then I gave up because the buffering took too long, and it wasn't worth it.
Did you have any other updates? What about your were you watching some Yao one? Yaoi?
Oh, the archery one? No, I haven't seen season 2 yet.
Oh, well,
I'm way behind on all my anime this week. I only watched Goblin Slayer and Joan of Arc episode 1. I haven't even seen JoJo yet. Any
more show notes in the beginning?
No, I'm good. How can we segue into talking about watching anime?
I don't know. This is basically
this is the greatest challenge we've ever faced as podcasters. How do you transition from watching current anime to having watched Toonami anime?
Toonami, as everybody knows, had an estimated population of 48,000 in 2018.
Oh, Toonami. Oh, shoot, you're right. I kept thinking we were talking about Toonami. Oh, you're right, Toonami. Okay, you're right. Hold on, let me pull up the Wikipedia real quick. Type, Toonami.
Taka.
Oh yeah, 48,659. Yeah, that's a pretty quaint little town right there.
So most people don't know that the town of Toonami is actually the place that Toonami was created by Adult Swim.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes.
See, I would have guessed it was like Atlanta, like Adult Swim's headquarters or Cartoon Network headquarters.
Well, actually, they originally were made in Japan, and then they brought them over here. So.
Wait, Toonami?
Toonami is the English translation of Toonami.
Well, I hate to tell you this. I hate to burst your bubble. But the original lineup of Toonami included 0 Japanese animes.
Oh man. Now, do we want to go through do you want to carry us through the story and like the beginning and the birth of Toonami and what even Toonami is for maybe we don't have
I'll do my best, but you know I'm not good at explaining things, so I'll just say like Toonami was a cartoon block, probably a few hours, like 2 hours, 3 hours every day, weekdays. And this basically, I would say, popularized anime in the West. Like it's basically solely responsible for it.
It gets a lot of credit. Yeah, Absolutely. It started in like 1997. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, according to my notes.
According to the Wikipedia notes. And as you mentioned, there was no it was Thundercats, it was a Cartoon Roulette, Voltron, and the Real Adventures of Johnny Quest. Now, Voltron,
right.
Isn't that Japanese? Isn't that?
You're right. Okay, my bad.
All right, so you got one
Yeah.
one Japanese
One for
show.
4.
I think it is. It might not be.
No, yeah, it's gotta be, dude. The whole giant robots, mechs, fusing Megazords. Come on. I've never known an American thing to do that until anime popularized it.
It was wow. Okay, so it's based on Armored Fleet Diane Kruger 4.
Maybe Voltron is like the American name, and whatever you read was the original Japanese name. That happened a lot.
In the United States, it was heavily edited to become part of the Voltron series.
Oh, no way. So it was like a Power Ranger situation.
Yeah.
Wow. That kind of thing fascinates me. I kind of want to look into Voltron then after this. I'll forget, but
this will be a Voltron episode.
Yeah. As from two guys who've never seen any Voltron other than like a couple parody clips or whatever here and there. Like that Perry Bible Fellowship comic.
Oh, exactly.
Where their mechs are the bullets, and like the Megazord is a gun. So it's like it's like kamikaze suicide bombing essentially.
They shoot the green one. Like,
yeah, and then it shows them all celebrating. It does that split screen, but like one or two of them are missing.
I love the parodies where it's like I've seen one where it's like one of the green ones like a dog or something, or it's like their mascot. And maybe that's the one where they fire him into, or like one of the dudes is like mentally retarded or something. Like it's fantastic.
Right. I'm the leg. I think I have seen something like that. Yeah.
Actually, I think I don't know if that's correct or not, but this will be a segue into something else. Megas XLR, I think, is what does that. I think they had a parody of that.
I could see them doing that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to jump around. Anyway, Toonami was like, it was more than just a block of cartoons because they had like a plot to it. There was a universe, there were characters, there was a story. It was really, I think, weird and unique in that regard.
To the degree that it had a narration arc, but cartoon blocks were pretty common. You know, at least in the 90s, you had like Face from Nickelodeon, and then the popsicle stick dude. And I'm really dating myself now. I barely remember those. I was a youngin' at that point.
I remember Face, but I don't remember the popsicle sticks or whatever.
Yeah, and then Cartoon Network had a bunch of just different, like a Friday night block where all the characters from all the TV shows would like hang out.
Those were
in
cool.
Like this
Those
big white
bumpers.
space, and yeah. It was like it really felt. I really have great nostalgic for those things because it felt like it was very meta in the sense like all the cartoon characters were getting together and doing it and like watching you watch cartoons.
Do you remember the Cartoon Network games on their website? It was like the Cartoon Bungalow. I think. That's what it was called.
Those were awesome.
They were like adventure games where you played with and met all different Cartoon Network characters. Those are so cool.
You had to like trade different items. You had to like it was a big
one big trade game.
Oh man, those were fantastic. And then they had a bunch of games on the Cartoon Network site. For a long time, that was like my go-to for games. That and coolmathgames.com.
Is that a real website? Because I just saw that in a meme the other day. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's a classic meme. That's a classic meme from our times where it's like, Johnny, are you playing games in class? It's like, nah, teach. It's coolmathgames.com. I'm doing math. Like
the one I saw was it was Yugi. Like he played a card. No, Kaiba played a card. It's like stop playing games in class, and then Yugi played like a counter spell or whatever, and it was no, it's coolmathgames.com. And then Kaiba was like shown like blown away.
In the shadow
his like
realm.
points drained. Yeah. Anyway, talk about Toonami.
Oh, me talk about Toonami?
Yes, that was a command.
About a polite request. Yeah,
Dance monkey.
Early on, I don't remember it as the cartoon block that was like in the daytime. It was like after school. I never watched Thundercats, Voltron, or any of that.
Same.
What I did watch was in 1998 they came out with Beast Wars Transformers. Do you remember that?
Yes, Beast Wars was so cool.
That was like an old school 3D weird kind of pre-rendered. I don't even know what you want to call it, but it's Transformers and they were animals. It was cool.
Yeah. I mean, in retrospect, it was probably terrible, but it was cool at the time.
Maybe it was a year ago. I went back and watched a couple episodes on YouTube. It was pretty interesting.
Did it hold up at all?
Well, I never like really fondly remembered it. I just remember it being on TV, and remembrance breeds like comfort. So you're like, wow,
yeah.
It was just nostalgia. But also in 1998, I don't know if this is the very first time it was on air, but this is where
Gotta be.
Dragon Ball Z. This is when this comes.
The king.
Dragon Ball Z is not only the king of anime, it brings everybody in the world together, but
yeah,
popularized anime in the West for sure. I mean, it's
definitely.
This premiere is where I think it was Toonami that really brought all of it, and that's why we're all here right now listening to this, even tangentially.
Dragon Ball Z, baby.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have any of the all you Zoomers with like the new Crunchyroll and things like that. That wouldn't even be. Maybe you didn't watch Dragon Ball Z when it first came out, but you got to know your history. You got to know where you come from.
Hold on. I don't know if that sip sound effect came through.
Yeah, well, it sounded disgusting, but yep.
Well, we can take that out.
Go.
It sounded like you were on a breathing machine. We need to work on our simultaneous sip game.
We're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to dub it in with in post. There'll be sip noises.
.mp3 just drag and drop into the recording. Oh, I was gonna say also Sailor Moon came out that year. I never saw that though. I don't know if you watched it or not.
I watched it. I just saw a couple episodes of it. It never really grabbed me. Obviously, it's for like a different demographic than I am. I mean, what a great contrast.
Kind of.
Dude, you got Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. Like, that's hitting both. That slammed all the weeaboo girls that were going to be weeaboos. And then Dragon Ball Z got got every male, actually. Everybody I know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Everybody I know that's like younger than 30 watches Dragon Ball Z or has seen it and enjoys it. They have a positive feeling towards it.
I don't think I've ever known anyone to watch DBZ and not like it.
I don't actually know if I've met anyone that hasn't watched DBZ, other than like old people. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, probably not. Right? Yeah, I mean, of course, anyone within an age range. I wonder now if the younger kids have seen it. I mean, Super was pretty recent, so probably Kai, also Dragon Ball Kai. That that was like what, 5 years ago? Maybe?
Well, the new movies are like awesome.
I never got into the Dragon Ball movies.
Well, not Dragon Ball movies, the Dragon Ball Z movies.
Well, yeah, that too. I mean, I think they're only.
You never got into the movies?
Nah.
Like Cell Dorado and Gohan Blanco and
those aren't the movies. Those are Brazilian tier lists.
Did I tell you I met the guy who did the original one?
I don't think so. I think that's a guy.
No, I did.
No, he lied to you and he said this was me. I made the meme.
Well, he at least made the videos that have millions of views.
Oh,
so.
Okay. Well, hey, that's cool then.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I'm subscribed to him on YouTube, but
we'll get him on as a guest when we do our DBZ episode.
So that was peak boomerism in 1998.
Yeah.
In 1999 is when they had Reboot, which was awesome. If you remember that.
Yeah, I think that one also would not hold up if we were to watch it.
It doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. But I still think of Reboot.
I only remember
still think
one
of Incoming
thing.
Game.
I only remember one thing from all of Reboot, and some characters were like brainwashed to be like stupid automaton slaves, and they kept messing up everything, and they kept repeating, "We are helping, we are helping."
Yeah, I still remember that.
That's the only thing I remember. That and the ugly character designs. I hate to say it, but they were pretty ugly.
Oh, they were hideous. Absolutely. This was also when Powerpuff Girls came out, and it was on Toonami.
I don't know. I don't remember that as a Toonami show.
I don't either. That's why, because Toonami's gone through a lot of different branding.
Yeah.
And it's even been canceled throughout the years, and then now it's brought back.
Oh, spoilers.
Yeah, we're jumping ahead a little bit.
I mean, we don't have to go like year by year, show by show. I don't know. We could pick some highlights here, like
the first couple of years are a little bit of a highlight for me. I mean, you also get
true
year 2000 Gundam Wing. That was Like, I didn't even watch all the episodes when I was a kid. I just remember it being one of my favorite shows. Like, I just loved the idea. I think I saw a couple episodes of it and then just played with the toys from then on out. I didn't even watch the show. I just knew how cool the Gundams were. I was like,
the show was like, I couldn't follow it. I had no idea what was going on at all because it's all so political and like,
yeah.
It's like
I tried to watch it as a kid. It was boring.
I watched episode 1, I think yesterday, while I was playing Dragon Quest 11, because you can have your teammates, your characters play with AI. So I was doing the mid-final boss. I was having the gameplay itself, and I was watching Gundam Wing episode 1. And
peak neat.
Just like peak, like just give up on life.
Hedonism,
like you can't even play video games. You have to have them play themselves.
While you watch anime. Watch boomer anime.
Yeah, I probably need an intervention or something.
Now,
but,
Quake, that was a good game.
You're like getting consumed by a tentacle monster over there. Episode 1 was really slow and a lot of politics and stuff. Granted, I was half watching the screen because sometimes you have to switch out your characters if somebody's dying or messing up the AI. So I was only half paying attention to Gundam, but it was kind of hard to follow. I'm not retarded, but I guess what I'm only half watching a show. Even now, it's too complex for a kids show. That's my verdict.
There's one more show that year that was pretty sweet, and we've got Tenchi Muyo, which I also never watched, but I did see.
I don't know what it is.
It's like an old school anime, like from the 80s, like way before our time.
Like I've always known the name, it's just like I can't.
Yeah, it was like one of the probably one of the original harem animes.
I know that girl. I just clicked on it, and the blue one.
Yep, but I can't tell you what it's about. I can't tell you what it is. I just remember one time on Toonami as a kid, I saw the last episode. And I was like,
Nice.
Oh, well, now I know how everything ends. Thank you.
Very
like,
nice.
2001, Outlaw Star, fantastic boomer anime.
What's that one? Remind me, because I don't know
that's
that
the
one.
spaceship. That's the spaceship in space with hands. Like the spaceship grows hands.
No, that's Macross.
You sure?
No. Wait, we didn't do research.
I'm pretty sure it has hands, but like the core of the ship is a naked girl. So there you go. I think she can come out of the tube though.
That is somewhat true, because there is a naked girl on the Wikipedia page, but she was edited in the Cartoon Network version to have clothes on.
I don't remember that, but I didn't watch Outlaw Star on Toonami. I found it online legally somewhere, and it was the Japanese version.
Right, of course. Speaking of Japanese real quick, going back to Gundam, the opening and ending were the full Japanese opening and ending, which was really weird for the time, I feel like.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Because I watched the dub, just to be clear, when I rewatched it yesterday.
Yeah, because then you can't read subtitles while you're playing games. You have to listen to the voices. Yeah. 2001 is like all these early ones are classics, and like we could boomer out on most of these things. Big O was an awesome.
Big O's so good.
It's fantastic. It's basically
Big O. You can cut that out. Take it out of the podcast.
Basically, Big O is about gardening tomatoes. That's basically all you got to know about.
Is it? Oh, dude, they could have the porno parody called The Big O. Get it?
Oh, dude, that's hilarious. You also had card captors that year. You had Mobile Suit Gundam, another one. You had Dragon Ball. You had Batman Beyond, Zoids.
Zoids, man. That was another one I watched yesterday as prep. I watched Zoids episode 1.
Okay,
and,
break it to me. Does it hold up at all?
I don't know how to tell this to you, but it's okay. You know,
Nice.
You can't get a great feel from episode 1 only, just because back then I feel like animes were like 100 episodes and they were really slow to start. It's not like nowadays where you have a full arc in 12 episodes.
Oh, that's just insane. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it was slow. It was kind of boring. The dub seemed serviceable, so it's probably not good. But you know, if you're looking for a nostalgia watch, I would recommend it. But if you're new to it, probably don't.
2002, we had everyone's favorite anime, Hamtaro.
I unironically liked Hamtaro.
I did too.
The games were so cool. The The Game Boy Color one in particular. The GBA one was just kind of like a rehash. But it was like an adventure game. You go around talking to different like hamsters. There were probably mini games. It was like also collecting sunflower seeds as currency. They were cool.
If you want the basically Hamtaro summarized, you can go to YouTube and type in Hamtaro abridged, and you can get the summary version of it. It's great. You should watch that as well.
There were like 4 different Gundams within like 4 years here. They had a lot of different Gundams.
Well, they were probably already pre-done in Japan, and they just brought them over. Like they're like, well,
Oh, certainly.
I'm sure we caught up with like 10 years of Gundam in like two or three.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that they had so many Gundams and that they did so well when they were so big-brained for a child audience.
I remember the toys were just fantastic.
The toys are so great.
You get the action figures and the model kits. Yeah.
The models. I want to buy a Gundam model, except now they're only targeted towards people like us, and they're like $500.
Yep, that's true.
I want like a $20 cheap
And
one.
you gotta paint them and everything.
Yeah, I don't want to paint. I just want to build it. Maybe I'll look into that, see if they have like $20 ones somewhere.
We also had Samurai Jack that year.
Samurai Jack. Now that's a good show. Sip.
Getting good mileage out of the sips.
This whole episode is, and you know, I hate the 30-year-old boomer me, but this is, if you're gonna use it, this is the episode to use it.
Samurai Jack was fantastic.
Did you watch the when they brought it back, like the final season?
I have not seen the new Samurai Jack season.
Really?
Yeah, I should probably watch that.
It's pretty good, pretty faithful, and that's more than you could expect reasonably. And I mean, I think they did it justice. It got kind of consumed, I would say, by like a love story, because like all of Samurai Jack, like the first 3 seasons was it? They were all very like, Jack is kind of a loner. Yeah, he makes allies here and there, but the whole crux of the show is just his solo adventures.
Yeah, he's a wanderer.
But they did exactly, and they did kind of make it more like him and a girl towards like the last half of the new season.
That's fine.
But it's I mean it's slightly different. Like, don't go in expecting the same thing, but it still fit with the whole universe, the whole aesthetic. Yeah, I mean, it's worth watching if you like Samurai Jack. When Samurai Jack was still on TV, the old ones, I would leave it on TV while I went to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had a TV in my room.
I'm going to do that tonight.
Just the sounds, the ambiance, because some episodes didn't even have dialogue in them. They were just audio, background noise. It's really well done.
2003, I remember .hack/side, which...
Really? I never saw it.
I never really saw it either, but it was it was like baby's first isekai. It was an isekai before isekai. That's why I loved it, and that was before I really knew what an MMO was. I was a youngin'. I was like 3 years old then. So I was like,
sure
what
you
is
are.
this? I'm a zoomer. I'm a 40-year-old zoomer. I never saw like a single episode of it. In fact, I tried to go back and watch it. There was a thread about it a couple of years ago, and they're like, oh, what order should I watch them in? Because there's a bunch of spinoffs and things like that. And they're like, just don't. It's not good. Drags on forever and things like that.
Oh, that's so sad.
So it's like one of those things.
I heard the games are good, though.
I mean, I heard that too, but I don't have, a Famicom to run the ancient games on.
I'm pretty sure they're PS2, maybe PS1. Come on. At that point, you could even emulate those, I think. Legally, of course. Wink, wink.
2003 was a good year. You got Neon Genesis, Evangelion gone.
Hold on though. You nailed the name, but I will say with the caveat, I'm pretty sure there were only 2 episodes on Toonami that they aired.
Really?
Yeah, and they were heavily edited, as is my understanding.
I thought it showed on Toonami. I thought I watched it on Toonami. As
some prep, I was watching some Toonami videos on YouTube. And somebody mentioned that in an offhand comment.
I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I must have streamed it online somewhere, yeah.
True or not, you didn't watch the full dub on Toonami. Like, come on.
Probably not. Now, this was also a fantastic year for Yu Yu Hakusho, which I feel like a lot of people don't give that as much credit as it should. It is a fantastic show. I went back and rewatched it in like 2012, I think. Or at least like the first season. It's a great show. It's like
It's just a battle shonen anime. I mean, it's solid.
It's like a Dragon Ball Z style type.
It's done by I believe his name is Togashi, the guy who does Hunter x Hunter.
Good characters, good setting. All the main characters have different colors.
So I mean, it's good stuff. I mean, how many times have you tried to do a spirit gun in real life?
Oh, constantly.
Well, I know, every day.
And a spirit sword as well.
Oh, yeah. Because, see, Kuwabara was like, he was such a reject, but he was still able to get a power. So you're like, if he could do it, why couldn't I?
Exactly.
I always liked those characters. In fact, I was gonna say Shaman King, but I think I was like Fox FX or Fox Kids, whatever their block was called.
Sunday morning cartoons or Saturday morning.
Yeah, Shaman King though. The stupid little kid. I don't know if you ever saw Shaman King or not. I watched it.
I didn't.
I watched it later after like long after it had aired. I watched it like college or so online. There's like a main little side character. He's like some nerd, little midget dude,
and that's who you related to.
Yeah, because it's like, I'm not a magic guy. He's not a magic guy. But eventually he does get a magic power. And I was like, yeah, if he could do it, so could I.
Speaking of swordsmen with magic powers, Rurouni Kenshin was also in 2003.
You know, I think with that one, I did the same thing that you did with Tenchi Muyo. I only remember like the last episode. I never got into it.
I really only remember the last episode as well, but I remember the whole series like was just really fantastic. In fact, I had some friends that really liked it, and I saw they have live action Rurouni Kenshin movies, which are pretty great.
What?
Yeah.
That's even more surprising. They're good?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Wow, I don't know how to handle that information. I'm just going to reject it.
I actually saw it on the airplane the last time I was coming back from Japan.
What? The last time? Well, yeah, just, because you go so frequently. All right, Mr. World Traveler over there. What was it about that show where it was every girl's favorite anime?
I don't know. Well, he was kind of like he wasn't a beta, but he was a nice guy. I don't know how you would describe it. I need a TV Tropes article on what his things are. Yeah,
I don't know. It's just me. I think that contributed to why I never watched it.
Yeah. Well, I never liked his catchphrase, Kenshin a go-go, baby.
That's the one thing I did like about it, though. I have to admit, though, as a stupid child, as a micro-brained young youth, I'd never... Well, I guess I did eventually understand, but I had trouble understanding what his blade was. What a reverse blade meant.
I still have no idea what that means.
Okay, well, I probably don't either, and I don't have the courage to admit it. I think the sharp... Well, hold on. Well, the blade. A blade is sharp on both sides, right?
I thought.
So, but a reverse blade... See... I guess I don't know what it means, but what I think it means is
it's like he's holding his knife backwards.
No, I think it's like, yes, exactly. So the outward edge is dull, but the inward edge facing him is sharp.
He's holding the blade edge and he hits you.
He just holds it backwards. He just doesn't know how to hold a sword.
He's holding the blade and he hits you with the handle. Yeah, he holds it in his mouth.
So that never made sense to me. So maybe that's another reason that I don't like it.
I still don't get it. They would show it in the anime, like it would like glisten and it would look weird and wavy. Anime character would notice. They'd be like, "Oh, what's his weird sword like?" And I was like, I can't tell it's a weird sword. Like I didn't grow up around weird.
Wait, hold on. So you mean like from 15 feet away, you can't see if a sword is like 5 microns wider than normal?
I need to practice my kendo. We also had Cyborg 009. Which
that one was cool.
It was very neat. It reminded me of like Astro Boy style. It was really old style.
Well, that's because it's the same guy, Tezuka.
Oh, is it? Oh, that makes sense.
It's gotta be, right? Like,
I don't know.
Now I have to check.
But that was fantastic. That was basically a whole crew of people, a very diverse cast.
No, it's not. Dude, it's not.
It was just the style back then. It was just the style. I'm sure.
Yeah, my bad.
It was like early 80s or late 70s, but they got kidnapped and turned into cyborgs, and they all had a different power. Like one guy's power was to run really fast. One guy shot beams out of his fingers. One dude could fly. They could all do like different things. I think
and one was a girl. That was her power.
One was a girl, yeah, and she always carried the baby cyborg, which is great.
Of course, because you need a baby cyborg in a battle manga. 1964 to 1981.
64?
Yeah.
Wow. That is crazy. I mean, I knew it looked old at the time. I knew it was like a decade old.
Well, the anime isn't 64. That was the manga.
All right. Fair enough.
The anime was anime film. TV series was no way. That can't be right. I don't know. It's been remade too many times. I can't tell which was which.
What does it say?
One of them was like 68 or something.
Oof.
That couldn't
That would
be
be
right.
well. That would no, because that wouldn't be in color.
Oh yeah, I guess not.
They didn't even have color back then. Everything was in black and white in real life.
That's true.
Speaking of very colorful things, SD Gundam. Do you remember that?
I liked it more than Gundam because it was targeted towards stupid kids.
Yeah, they were targeted.
And I could understand it.
SD Gundam was 3D animated. I'm pretty sure it was 3D animated.
Yeah.
They were like chibi Gundam.
Well, that's what the SD implies. Super deformed. That's what they used to call like the chibi style.
Is that what it is? For real?
Yeah, I'm not joking. Yeah.
That's funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Speaking of things that are really deformed, Dragon Ball GT also came out that year.
Yep. And then next year.
Next year was Duel Masters. There you go.
See, Yu-Gi-Oh was already a thing at that point, though, so nobody got into Duel Masters. I wanted to because I did, and I still do like card games conceptually, but I never got into it.
It looks exactly like
actually,
a Yu-Gi-Oh spinoff. It's exact.
Well, every Japanese card game anime does, but I think mechanically it's similar to Magic, Magic the Gathering, where you have like land cards essentially, and you like tap stuff, and yeah, I don't know though. Astro Boy apparently was also that year. I never saw it. It's so weird. I've seen like half of these shows, but not the other half. How is that possible? If I was watching Toonami for like every year,
I don't know.
How did I miss half of their stuff?
I've never heard of Transformers Energon.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know what that is.
But I'll tell you what I have heard of: Jackie Chan Adventures.
Yeah,
that's one of everybody's favorite animes. Oh, dude, I loved the Talismans.
I do actually want to do an episode on not anime eventually. So I don't want to say too much about Jackie Chan Adventures, but that's a good one.
I think Mobile Suit Gundam Seed also came out that year. Is that the one? No, this isn't it. There's one, I think we passed it the year, where they all wear like spandex tights and they go Shining Finger and things like that.
That was a Gundam one?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Ooh, yeah. I don't think I ever saw anything really past Zero Wing or SD. That's a series where I'm not a big mech guy. It's too big to even get into, like the whole Gundam franchise. Really, the only mech shows I've ever seen are Gurren Lagann, of course, and I watched a season of what's it called, Mazinger. That's what it is.
Now, if you're talking about mech shows, you have to watch the best mech show that's ever been made, and that's Megas XLR that came out in 2004. This is, I mean,
you dig giant robots, I dig giant robots, chicks dig giant robots. It's something of that nature.
The opening theme song is called Chicks Dig Giant Robots.
Oh, well, there it is. That's it.
Yeah.
That tells you all you need to know about the show.
I just want to read a little bit of the overview. In the year 3037, Earth is fighting a losing war against the Glorf, a hostile alien race. In a last desperate attempt to save the planet, the human resistance steals a prototype mecha robot from the Glorft and modifies it into a powerful war machine, renaming it the Megas, Mechanized Earth Guard Attack System. Their plan is to use a time-traveling device to send Megas back to its assigned pilot, Kiva, 2 years into the past before the Battle of the Last Stand, which is the last major offensive fought by humanity against the Glorft. Humanity lost that battle, but the members of the resistance, particularly Kiva, believe that the Megas can tip the scales and hand the Glorft a decisive defeat. This is like a tongue twister with made up words.
So you know what this is, right? This was predictive programming, as they call it. You know the conspiracy theory that they were talking about, like 9/11 and Simpsons before it happened?
This is for the alien invasion that they're going to fake?
That's what Megas is for real life right now. It's all about the resistance fighting Glottal Glorf.
You blorp. I'll get you next time.
So hashtag resistance. Let's see that in the comments.
Oh, this makes perfect sense because before the plan can be executed, however, an attack by Blorf forces the human resistance to send Megas back in time before the preparations are made. Megas' head is blown off in the attack, its time drive is damaged, and the crippled robot is inadvertently sent to a junkyard in the 1930s New Jersey, and guess who picks it up? Darnold Blorf.
Oh no! He got him again.
It remains there until a fat mechanic Coop comes and he turns the Megas into a hot rod by giving it a flaming paint job and replacing its head with a classic muscle car. That's what I wanted to get to. The Megas is freaking sweet. It's absolutely fantastic. Him and his buddy, he modifies it. It's got like an 18 gear stick shift, like, and so the pilot from the future comes back and it's like, it's my robot, I'm gonna pilot it, and she gets into his car to pilot it, and she's like,
she's a strong, independent woman from the Resistance. Look at this. This theory lines up. This game theory is true.
oh yeah, but she can't pilot it due to all the mods that he's made.
Because the women can't drive.
Because women can't.
I disavow any offensive or controversial statements that anybody has said in this episode.
Anyway, they fight giant robots and the DMV and everything, and it's fantastic.
They fight the DMV.
They do, yeah. There's a whole episode on it.
I haven't seen it since it aired, and one of these days I need to rewatch it.
I'm gonna go rewatch it tonight. I'm gonna stay up all night rewatching Megas and Samurai Jack.
You have my blessing and encouragement.
That was just one of the big things I wanted to hit on Toonami because it was one of my favorite shows.
Oh yeah.
I also had Rave Master and Teen Titans.
Teen Titans was really cool.
It was pretty sweet. The girls were drawn well. And then they were supposed to have like a movie or an ending or something, and they never did that. And instead, we have the wonderful show of Teen Titans Pokemon Go to the polls.
Yep.
I can't say Pokemon now without saying Pokemon Go to the polls.
I can't say the word go without to the polls. Yeah. And it's weird. I wasn't like this until like 2 months ago. You know, that meme has been out there for like 2 years now, but it didn't start. I guess it's topical. You know, the election is what?
Yeah.
10 days from now? So
exactly, yeah. So everyone in Pokemon Go to the polls.
I'm just getting in the mood.
2005, I know you particularly like. This was Zatch Bell.
Oh, Zatch Bell, yeah. Zatch Bell's the best. Top 10 shonens. Go watch it.
It's basically like Pokemon, but instead of Pokeballs, they have books, and you burn them in Kalulu.
So I rewatched it actually about a year ago. I took a screenshot every time that they did a flashback to when this one character died. She died in like episode 5 or 10, really early on. Anytime like one of the main characters wanted, encourage someone or encourage themselves, like get into the fighting spirit, they would be like, remember who we're fighting for. Remember poor Kalulu who died. And it's like
Kahlua, no.
Yeah, and I think there were like fewer than 10 instances of flashbacks. But I remember when we were younger, we would joke all the time because it felt like they did it every other episode. I will say, though, if you're going to watch Zatch Bell, probably read it instead because the anime makes up its own ending and it cuts out the final arc. So go read it. But it's
pretty important.
Man, it's so good. It's so good. You know Conchome? You remember him?
Vaguely.
He was the little duck boy with the pajamas. He was
pretty good.
He's a baller. Like, he's such a coward, but eventually he becomes like the strongest guy, maybe canonically. I don't know. I think he beats Zatch in a training fight.
Because he gets to pilot the Megas XLR.
Oh, something like that, yeah.
Spoilers, yeah.
there is a gigantic robot in there. And it's also alive.
Well, speaking of gigantic, 2005 was a gigantic year. You had not only Zatch Bell, but the Batman. You had One Piece pop in. You had Transformers more. You had Yu-Gi-Oh! You had Bobo. You had IGPX Immortal Grand Prix, which was actually a pretty cool show.
Which was a Toonami exclusive.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. You had Dragon Ball Z Uncut. And here's the big one. The one that brought us all together and the reason why we're all here. Naruto.
Oh, yeah.
That was when it came out. And shoot, man, that's what got me into anime because I watched it all. Well, I watched it for months. They were in like basically the tournament arc. And Sasuke got kidnapped by Orochimaru. And they were chasing him down, and all the kids fought. They were hot on the trail, but then like one by one they get picked off by the bad guys and die there. And I was like, oh my god, this show is crazy.
Wait, they don't actually die.
Well,
right?
They get brought back to life, yeah, afterwards. But
but they actually literally die?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's hardcore.
It was heavily implied that they died.
Right.
People had died in the show before, so you didn't know they were going to get plot device back to life. But It was like it was like super awesome, and they all died in cool ways, and it was like, yeah, I love this trope where like you're in the big bad dungeon and it's like, no, you go ahead, leave him to me. They'll like defend the line as like like the rest of the team goes off to do the plot thing.
JoJo's really good about that.
That's like one of my favorite tropes. I'm gonna have to go watch JoJo then. Maybe you convinced me.
Yeah, parts 2 and 3 are really good about that.
Anyway, I wanted more Naruto. I was like, oh my god, what happens? And then somebody's like, oh yeah, it's like 4 seasons ahead in Japan. I was like, what's Japan? And
Nani?
all the way over there. And then so I downloaded it. I'm like, this isn't words. They're not speaking English. So then I started watching subs, and then I got to the end of the subs, and I was like, well, I still want to know what happens. I'm 2 seasons ahead, but now I'm in this season's cliffhanger. And then somebody's like, why don't you read the manga? I was like, what's a mango?
And then someone's like, psst, hey kid, check this out. Hey kid, you want to read?
He opens up his thing. Yeah, it was the greatest trick the devil ever pulled. Getting kids to read.
Very true.
That was my dark descent into this whole
Yep.
scenario. Anyway, it holds a personal thing in my heart. Do you have any Naruto stories that you'd like to tell?
Not really Naruto, but I mean, yeah, I had watched anime, like all the ones we had talked about before, like DBZ and whatnot. Similar to with you, like Naruto, One Piece. Those really got me into anime. Like that's when I think it started to click that it was its own thing. I don't remember them being the same year. I mean, that's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, that they all popped out at the same time.
Yeah, and Bobobo too. Like I thought that was like 2 years after like One Piece and or Naruto. Like 2005 was a banging year.
Yeah, I mean, you turned on the TV after school. You had Zatch Bell, One Piece, Naruto, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball Z, Bobobo. Like you're sitting there like, oh my god, you're overloaded with everything.
Yeah.
And that was probably the last good year for several years.
Yeah, that's probably around when I stopped watching. Like, just looking at, like, the year list here, like, the next year I did watch some Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, but I never watched any of the other ones. I was vaguely aware of them, but Prince of Tennis or Mar, M-A-R, just, excuse my German, it's like Märchen Awakens Romance.
Oh, yeah, I vaguely remember that, but... You know, it's exactly what it was with the story of Naruto. I had stopped watching on TV now that I realized I could get it on demand.
Right. And I feel like that was kind of a downfall of Toonami.
Because it was so good that you had to go watch more of it. You needed to have it out more. That's how I felt.
Episodic, like 1 episode a day or 1 a week. I forgot the format that they had. I think it was actually 1 a day.
Yeah, which is crazy.
But yeah, it's insane. Even that's not enough, especially nowadays. Can you imagine any kid sitting down at like in front of the TV at the same time every day? No, everybody binge watches everything.
And then after Toonami airs, you play some Halo.
Yeah.
2008 had Bakugan, which I didn't watch, but it also had Ben 10 Alien Force. And those two came together to make Ben 10 Bakugan fighting.
Oh, yeah. Ben 10 Bakugan fight. You have to say it like that. Bakugan.
Bakugan.
Dude, I totally forgot about that. That explains why that Flash game is a thing. Because they aired the same year. I didn't make that connection.
I didn't either until now.
I like the Ben 10 snowboarding game. Where you have to avoid the slope ghosts.
And it's like, and he talks about how it's destroyed it destroyed many ski resorts because now they have to say that they routinely check for slope ghosts.
Actually, I guess that was around when Toonami died. Mm-hmm. 2008 or so. I kind of stopped watching like in the last couple of years. I really can't speak to what all happened in the interim. Should we talk a little bit about like the Toonami arc, like the story behind it?
Like Moltar and Tom? Like I remember Moltar was first.
Yeah, I really don't remember him, but I mean I saw him through a couple of like watching bumpers and stuff as I was doing this weekend. But I can't say that I remember watching him live. So I mean I'll just kind of skip over that. Like it was like apparently it's the bad guy from Space Ghost, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he was the
Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Right, and he was like the cartoon host for the Toonami block. And apparently the reason that they picked him was because he didn't have a mouth, and they own the IP for him. And the mouth thing was that he's easy to animate. So it was a very practical choice anyway, but who cares? Because that was like Toonami prequel, you know? It's like they were like testing the grounds, getting their feet wet. Because then they came out with Tom and the Absolution, which was the name of the giant ship.
I loved that ship. I still had the imagination of a 5-year-old child, at the time because I was 6 years old.
Right.
I'm a slow developer. But
slow by 1 year.
I remember.
It's not terrible.
But I remember imagining because he had a special where it was like the week of like Tom's thing, and it also lined up with their website where you could play games online and like unlock things for the next weeks of programming. I mean, in retrospect, obviously they were going to go along and do the story anyway, even if you didn't play the game. But as a kid, I was like, wow, it's interactive. I'm actually making things happen on
So
TV.
do you mean the, I think it was called like Infiltration or something, which is like the arc where they eventually killed Tom.
Yeah, he gets absorbed by like the blob and then he comes out improved.
Yeah. I remember playing some of the Flash games. One of them was kind of like, I think a grid-based RPG tactics kind of fighter thing. Whatever the games were, I remember them. They were very hard, at least for me, a stupid kid. But I could never finish them. I could never figure them out. But like you said, I mean, the idea was so cool to me. They did that with a sci-fi show, actually. It was like an MMO, and it was supposed to like what the characters did in the MMO was supposed to affect the show somehow. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
That was back when like G4 was a thing because they talked about it on that. They brought back Tom as like Tom 2, and he was much better designed. Like Tom 1, if you remember, he was like some kind of chibi, like weird, like big gut kind of ugly robot.
Oh my god, he was the boomer.
Nah.
No, yeah, he was like...
That's a stretch.
He was black and white and had a giant gut.
Yeah, but he didn't have a Monster Energy drink in his hand.
He didn't have our sips.
He didn't have that weird, like... This is disgusting on the boomer thing. He's got like this weird like half circles like drawn out where he's got hair coming out. I don't know what those are. And to me it looks like some weird skin condition. On the 30-year-old boomer cartoon, the Wojak at it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't know what hair you're talking about.
I don't know. You just look at his hair. Just pull up a picture and you look at his hair and it's weird.
Oh, no, it's just like that's where his receding hairline is.
Oh, okay.
Those aren't patches. It's just like
I don't know. It always looked gross to me. That's half the reason I don't like the meme.
It hits too close to home.
No, I'm not balding yet, to my knowledge.
I've got hair like a zoomer.
Yeah. Actually, I think Tom 1.0 looked a little bit more like Marvin from the movie Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see that really well.
Like big-headed and then kind of like... I don't think Marvin was as fat, but I think he did have kind of like a portly design to him. Anyway, Tom 2 was cool, though. He was like a dude. They kind of said, like, I watched like a little bit of some interviews, and they said that they wanted to make him kind of like a cool older brother. And I think they kind of nailed the personality of Tom.
I think I saw that documentary, too. They wanted him to be like, they give good messages and like be like a cool older brother that you're like, wow, like, I come home from school and like hang out with my friends and like this. They would do like not like after school specials like to teach you a good lesson, but they were
like music videos, man.
Oh, dude, we didn't even get to talk about the music videos yet. Yeah, they did awesome AMVs basically. Yeah, and they did like some like spoken word like monologues set to anime cutscenes and stuff. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? The outro this week is going to be one of those. It'll be my favorite.
Oh,
one.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
So.
Do you know what it's called? Because there was one that I saw, and I don't remember the name, but
there's
probably
two that I really like. Oh, shoot. The line is, how do you know you're improving unless you challenge yourself or something? I can't remember what it is.
That's cool. Yeah, it had a lot of cool like platitudes and stuff. Like, you know, it's so easy to make those corny. But the Toonami ones were cool somehow. Yeah,
they were awesome. It's like, especially as a kid, because you really do think Linkin Park Naruto AMVs are probably pretty cool.
So they're the highest form of philosophy.
Like, I was like, wow. Like
Socrates, I've got Linkin Park.
I mean, I actually really did like some AMVs like of Naruto. Like, I would love to watch that AMV fight scenes. Like, I'd be like, oh, this is so cool. Oh, dark and edgy music. With a 1,000-foot crutch or like Linkin Park or something like that.
The only AMV I ever thought was cool was a Kingdom Hearts 2 one, I think. Set to Wake Me Up Inside. Which is a total meme joke song now, but back then it was less so.
It's so, dude. I saw one. It was half Kingdom Hearts and it was half Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. To wake me up inside, and I was like,
Nice.
This is it. This is it, you guys. This is the pinnacle of art."
That reminds me, like, this is such a tangent-filled episode, but who cares? Who's that guy on YouTube where he like ships weird like Disney characters together and he like edits them like different clips?
I was just thinking of that the other day. There was like he made like a lesbian relationship out of the captain from Treasure Planet and the lady from Tarzan.
Jane.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's the video I was thinking of too.
It was such high production quality. Like,
I know,
it
he's
looks
so
like
good
a
at
real
it.
thing.
Imagine if he used his abilities for something of
used
value.
for good.
That reminds me, I just recently heard of a really in-depth sub-community. It's called like Pooh and the Adventures of insert IP here. And it's like they edit Pooh characters inside like movies and stuff. I didn't watch it, but I kind of want to like watch a few to get into it. It sounded really crazy.
You should send me that. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I will.
That'll be our next episode because Winnie the Pooh's an anime.
Of course he is. He's in Kingdom Hearts, and you have to be an anime to be in Kingdom Hearts.
You know, there actually is a new Winnie the Pooh movie that I want to see. It's called Christopher Robin.
Oh, the live action one?
It's like, yeah, it looks pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I don't know. So by the time I had stopped watching Toonami, apparently they did like one or two other redesigns, and apparently they did more like those week-long arcs where like, you know, you play the games or whatever. I only remember the first one, and I know that at one point they did remake Tom to be like completely different. Like he had a mouth and like an expressive face, and he was like a weird looking like trash robot kind of thing, almost reminiscent of the aesthetics of what is it, Borderlands, Claptrap, I think it's called.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, like go do like a search. I think it's like Tom 4.0 maybe.
Tom 4.0 of the BG for You
I don't
team.
know what he was
Oh,
called,
yeah, I do remember him. This guy.
Yeah, it's such an ugly design, and that's the one that Toonami died with.
Yeah, because he's ugly.
He died with that design. I don't think that's why.
I think it was. Dude, and it's not as edgy anymore. It's like brighter colors and
it's
stuff.
It's like kid friendly now. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no.
And they're like on a planet.
Interesting. I had certainly stopped watching Toonami. I had probably stopped watching it in 2005, basically, when I switched over to full-on anime online. But I would see it every once in a while up into, 2008, just to watch probably some Ben 10. I actually really liked some Ben 10.
Yep.
And then that's when it went away. That was, what was the dude? It was like Tom 4.0. He died, I remember.
No, he doesn't die, dude. No, he flies off into the distance, into the sunset. He sunsets himself. Yeah,
that's true. I'm pretty sure Reddit was out around that time, and I remember threads about like, oh, R.I.P. Toonami and things like that. Or maybe they were around for the reboot, because spoilers, 4 years later, it does come back.
Well, you know that the writing was on the wall, apparently, internally, that Toonami was going to get axed. It wasn't like a production decision to have like a finale, basically. Like that's kind of something that like the team snuck in.
Oh, nice.
Because they analogized it, if that's even a real word, to like, you know how news stations have like death clips for like politicians or whatever, like in the event that they die. So they had something prepared, basically, and that's what they aired. And do you know what Tom 4.0's final word was?
See you later, Space Cowboy.
That's what I thought it was too, but it's bang, which is apparently Spike's last word in the anime.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, just like Toonami, we're gonna go out with a big bang when we crash this plane with no survivors.
Are we gonna bang this podcast?
we're gonna mukbang this podcast. Because
hold on, I heard static. Do you say mukbang?
Yeah, we're gonna mukbang this podcast.
I have been drinking. Does that count? I've been drinking this kombucha.
We've been sipping all night, and the next episode we're gonna do full audio ASMR of just slurping.
At one point, I knew the Korean word for drinking, so I could produce an equivalent word for mukbang. But that time has long since passed. So I don't know how you would say it. It's mukbang with drinks.
Yeah, you see the meme where it's like, if I get one comment, I'm gonna drink myself to sleep. It's like he comments himself.
Yeah.
He comments on his own. Or no, if he gets one
If I
like.
get one like, I'll kill
Yeah,
myself.
and he liked it himself, and he's like, got it.
Thanks for the support.
So if we get one like, we'll finish up the reboot of Toonami.
Maybe they'll not next episode. Maybe later, soon. TM.
Yeah. So we have to get one comment that says, "I enjoyed this."
And not from one of us.
Yeah, not from one of us. It's like I need a human's touch. I need somebody to say that I'm special or that I matter. That I'm not screaming out into the void.
I need validation. Where could they scream into our void?
You can validate us at YouTube / The Flight Plan or Big Guy for You, the letter 4 and the number U.
/ T Series? Is that the guy?
Yeah, T Series. Everybody follow. No, don't follow.
Unsub T Series. Resub PewDiePie.
Yeah, you better save PewDiePie. We need to save our man. He's our guy. We gotta save him.
Hashtag save PewDiePie.
Save PewDiePie from all the Indians. Also sub to Grande.
I don't know him, only from like a couple memes of his that you send me every once in a while.
I'm actually not. I don't think I'm subbed to either of them, to be honest.
Also, you can sub on Manga Decks. I guess you can sub.
Yeah, you
don't have to read the stuff there. You could follow like Gab.com, so you'll have to make an account because you're not one of the 10 people who has an account there. Follow the posts there. I basically only post download links to the chapters. I think that's it actually. Oh, Anchor.fm, I guess. Just search in an RSS feed for like podcast finders
or whatever your podcast app is.
Yeah.
We're there. We pop up with our shining faces and
nice,
beautiful,
cool logo,
seductive timbre. Yeah, excellent logo.
Cool logo.
Excellent logo, if I do say so myself. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's it.
I think that's it. We're gonna take the cool logo on our airplane, and we're gonna.
Oh, sorry, I got a better one. Whatever you're cooking up. You can also find us in the wreckage of this podcast after we crash it with no survivors. See, that's pretty good.
Space.
A boy has the right to dream. There are endless possibilities stretched out before him.
You have to trust in your own power.
Whatever happens from now on, you stand firm and face your destiny without fear, but with courage.
What awaits him down the path, he will then have to choose.
No one's gonna give you a map. You've got to walk your own path.
The children leave their homes in search of this quest.
What is thy desire?
As they search, they are always asking questions. What's out there? What's waiting for me?
Why was I made? Who made me? And what did they make me for?
Are you gonna go up into space with your old man or not? Maybe I'll never get over this. I've lived my life following my dreams, and I don't have any regrets.
You're gonna just keep running away?
Just keep running away? I'm not running.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Believe in yourself and create your own destiny. Don't fear failure.